Well, let's walk through the way of the pilgrims, El Camino. See, there's people. Well, hello. I'm out here in the woods walking, or in Spanish it's caminar, and camino means to walk or I walk, or it also means the way. So why am I saying this? Well, in this video is about a city called Pamplona, which is in the northeastern part of Spain. When we're on the citadel there, you can look and see the Pyrenees just off in the distance. Now those Pyrenees just on the other side is a French town called Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, which means the foothills of St. John or something like that. Well, that city is where the official starting point is of the Camino, there's that Camino word again, Camino Frances, the French way, which is a pilgrimage. Now, in an earlier video, we were in the place where it ends, Santiago de Compostela. This time we're in Pamplona. Pamplona, interesting city, vibrant, and it's about, it's during the first week of the Camino, which I have not done, although it's on my bucket list. Although I have walked the Camino both directions. You'll see in this video where we're on a little piece of it that we walk one way and then come back. And I got the hat. Does that make it official? No, it does not, because you have to stop in each albergue and get a little stamp, a sello, and some of the stamps are pretty fancy. And then when you get to Santiago, you present this and you get the Compostela, which is the official documentation that you have walked the entire route, which is like quite a distance. All right, so Pamplona. Pamplona is a young city, you might say. It's only 2,100 years old. So it was a Roman civilization at some point, probably predates that also. And Pamplona has history of all kinds. Now, you may have heard of it from, if you're an Ernest Hemingway fan, or several other writers have mentioned it for some oddity they do called running of the bulls. They call it corralling of the bulls. That's a direct translation of their word. So they're not the only city to do that, but they have popularized it, or these writers have popularized it. And the running of the bulls is during the festival of San Fermín, which is kind of an oddity because San Fermín, the people who take place don't have to, but they often wear white, and then with a red scarf. And the red scarf, the white and white, represents purity. Don't know what running with a bull while you're completely drunk means about purity, but the red scarf is in honor of, or homage to, San Fermín himself, who was martyred, as many saints are, or maybe it's a requirement to be a saint, or it helps if you're trying to be a saint to be martyred. So he was martyred by cutting his head off. So the red scarf around the neck is homage to his beheading, while they stand a good chance of being gored while running this. So you'll see in this video where we stayed on a hotel that's been stayed at by many people, and it's on the street where they run the bulls. This is our room in Pamplona, in the Gran Hotel La Perla, and from what I understand, some famous people have stayed here, or at least vloggers we've watched. Well, they have his and hers toilets again, except these are sitting side by side, so you can hold hands while you grunt. His and hers sinks, and this shower, his and hers and like 3 other friends. This thing's huge. You can put a lot of people in here, but you only get 2 towels. So, right, but the important part of this room is this section here, because there's a desk, there's some coffee, there's some tea, there's some water, and there's this door. We're going to go outside. And outside here, this street. All right, if you've ever seen Pamplona, this is the place where they run the bulls. So the bulls run down a street with a bunch of guys dressed in white with red scarves. More on that later. Well, this is the street, or one of the streets, they run down. Now, they won't be running down while we are here, at least not officially. So, but here we are in Pamplona, on the street with the bulls. They weren't running the bulls when we were there. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to afford to stay there. but a beautiful room, nice accoutrements inside, and even a shout out to my mother, bless her heart. There's a telephone operating thing that she used to do when she was working early in her career for the phone company. All right, so next to that, that's in a square where the bulls run through on the other side. And then next to that is a restaurant where Hemingway himself used to hang out and drink. Yeah, imagine, shocker. Ernest Hemingway was a drinker. So sorry if you were not knowing that. How you doing? All fire's the fire? Is that the war? I can't think of any of the other books. Sorry. But I've been to your house in Key West. Nice place. There are better places, and there are a lot of better places. We had some fantastic food there, both of the tapas variety, right off of just 75 yards from that restaurant is a little bar that serves some fantastic pinchos. Some are good to look at and aren't as tasty, but they're really good to look at, so photogenic for the gram when you're Instagramming it. But there's some other ones that are just downright tasty and amazing. So I'd suggest going there after you go to the other one. And then we went to a restaurant called La Joya, which I believe means the jewel, and it was fancy jewel for us because the wine was good, the food was good. Some pictures of that later. So Pamplona, 2,100 years old. It's the site of the Running of the Bulls. It's a good stop on the Camino de Santiago. There's a citadel just outside, or to the other side of town. We didn't get to go in, but we went near it at nighttime. It's lit up nice. It's quite a fort, so it's worth going back to how to arrive at Pamplona. We were coming from San Sebastian, which is north on the coast, and so I guess there's a train that goes to Pamplona, but it was a circuitous route through another place. A more direct route and quicker is taking a bus. Now, I live in the United States, and taking a bus can be an option, and in some cities it works just fine. So, all right, so watch the rest of the video in Pamplona, and while I continue my walk. See ya. Of the placards. Now these are the ones for the bicyclers, because there's a picture of a bicycler underneath. This is the most important part of 4 medieval bridges that cross the river Arga as it passes through Pamplona. It was built in the 12th century and later reformed in the 14th, so still pretty old. It has 3 slightly pointed arches, which we can't see at all. There's a picture of it. All right, so let's head back to the city as the pilgrims would. Let's see, this is the bicycle route. Here we are crossing the bridge, pilgrim style. So that is our hotel right there, but our room is facing the other side, because behind these buildings is where one of the streets the bulls run on, and they turn a corner and fall down at the same time. But this building here contains Cafe Aruña, where Hemingway used to eat. Oh, look. Sorry. Come on. Chocolate. Now, we haven't had that in several days, because that apparently isn't a thing in the north of Spain. But we're kind of like in the southern north of Spain now, so it's churros are back on the menu, boys. All right, oh, there's El Gacho. El Gacho. Vamos adentro. This is one of those high-end things. Oh, they have a Michelin star from 2025. Wow. All right, we have cod bacalao in this wrap thing. So, and then foie gras once again. Aquí tenemos pork cheeks. Estamos en El Gaucho. Here's the famous Running with the Bull statue.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Now there's the statue of the Running of the Bulls. And that's because sometimes the bull wins. So somewhere around here, I guess it's right in front of us, is the bull ring. So the bull runs delightedly to its own death. Now, oddly, the people running this bull thing are wearing they're wearing white with a red scarf, and that's for the festival of San Fermín. You know who San Fermín is?
What?
So he's San Fermín. They're wearing the red scarf because it symbolizes San Fermín was decapitated. So they're celebrating his decapitation. Well, they celebrate his decapitation by being gored themselves. So it's quite a gorgeous event. So it's it's like the people. It's like boxing or ice hockey. You watch it for the fight. All right, I'm having my moose bouche. And the little sausage comes with a bread service. There it is there. Don't miss it. That bread is called miga, which means crumb. Our final meal here is in La Olla, the jewel of Pamplona. And we're having a sirloin with potato chips, or fries rather. And those red things are what kind of peppers? Some sort of pepper that's very popular in this region, which aren't necessarily hot and don't really taste like what we would call a red pepper ourselves in the United States. Well, we have some explaining to do, and that is, I don't know if you've been watching many of my videos. Well, we've been going to some places in Spain, and even Spain where some Spaniards haven't been, like in the Ribera Sacra, some Spaniards haven't been there. So we're exploring some places that are off the beaten track, even by Spanish standards. So, sorry about the Well, why do we do that? Well, to avoid crowds and to support places in the planet that need some tourist dollars to come in, and to see some other stuff besides people posting selfies. So why do we travel in general and go to places that are far flung from home? Well, see my little hat there? That's from the movie Up with Ed Asner. Ed Asner plays a grumpy old man. Ooh, what a stretch. He was really good at playing those. So he's in that movie, and his wife passes away after a long, lovely marriage. And they had a scrapbook of places they'd been together, all the memories they shared and such. And he never went back. There were still some blank pages, but he never turned the page. He only got as far as the last page she wrote, because she was in charge of the traveling arrangements and such. Well, she passes, and this kid named Russell comes in the picture with a dog named Doug, blah, blah, blah. And he's fulfilling what he thinks is her dream, and he fails. It comes really close. And he sits down and he finds that book, and he notices there's more pages. He turns the page, and she had written one final entry. And it was, we lived our story. Now it's time for you to live yours and continue writing the story. So that's why we're doing this. We are writing the next chapter of our story. And that's what we're doing. We're finding places, like I imagine the character in Up went on to do with Russell, as he sort of adopted him as a grandson kind of thing. Now there is no part 2 because we've since lost Ed Asner. But let's live the story for Ed. Let's live the story for that lovely couple in the movie. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. But watch it with some Kleenex or something, because it's a really well done story. Really quite sweet. So it'll help your emotional IQ and being aware of people's feelings and stuff. It's quite good. And then you get to see my brother Russell in it. The other story there. All right, so that's why we travel, and that's why we're in Pamplona. That's why we're going to Saragossa next. So those are places that, now when we get to Saragossa, you'll see there's lots of other people who've discovered that one. But Pamplona, people walk days to get here. So us taking a bus for an hour is easy. And that's after flying to Europe and stuff. But taking a bus for an hour is an easy thing to discover something new. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But at least, hey, you gave it a try. I'm on this trail, and a moment ago some kid came by on a electric bike flying around, so make sure I don't get in his way again. All right, so that's why we travel. Why do you travel? While I'm on my Camino, walking along this path, the metaphorical one, where I'm on this journey in life, and I'm choosing which way to go, which path to take. Let me encourage you to also do the same. Choose a path, go explore, find something new to see, eat, and experience. Something that's outside your comfort zone. Now, there are many things outside my comfort zone I will never do. Jump out of an airplane, bungee jump, probably downhill ski, heck, uphill ski. I did, on a little sidetrack here, I did some cross-country ski many years ago. I found that a little more fun because the downhill part was optional. Well, back to exploring. So find something new, pick something new. It doesn't have to be exotic, canoeing the Congo or something. Just find some other part of town nearby, one tank trip, go do something, have a type of ethnic food you haven't tried before, or some level of spice you haven't tried before. Now the secret on the spice, if you're in an Indian restaurant, order the mango lassi, because that yogurt that's in there, they don't tell you this, they just want you to suffer, but that's sort of a fire hydrant or fire retardant when your mouth is burning. Stick your hand in that mango lassi, just rub it all over your face, or drink it. All right, so the one thing you need to decide is when to click like and subscribe. So if you like this video and you like this whole grandpa talking thing, I'm not a grandpa yet, I'd like to have some grand animals. So if you click like and subscribe and share. Now both of those are free, and subscribe is also free. So it doesn't cost you a dime, but it encourages me to continue doing this. And if you have some places you want to explore, let me know in the comments. And see you next video as we go to Zaragoza, or as they would say, Zaragoza, with two Z's, which they pronounce like THs in English. Zaragoza, which is named after Caesar Augustus. If you play with the pronunciation of Zaragoza, you can see that Caesar Augustus is in there. And we'll show you why it's called Zaragoza and what to do there as well. Great place. So in the meantime, see ya. And I'm sure there's a phrase many pilgrims say, and I will repeat at this moment, the ancient phrase that they use after walking up a hill toward a town, toward a village. And that phrase is, "Are we there yet?"